induction ceremony. The Hardin-Houston school community would like to take this opportunity to recognize 4 individuals for their remarkable accomplishments, commitment, and unwavering dedication to the youth of the district. The first member of the 2022 class of the Hardin-Houston Wall of Honor is the late Mr. Bob Borchers. Mr. Borchers first made his mark in the classroom as a Hardin-Houston elementary school math teacher, often tossing out candy to all parts of the seating charts whenever he felt a student's answer was deserving of a quick reward. Also a social studies teacher, Mr. B annually ink pen fundraiser for a 5th grade field trip to Cincinnati was the first grade game for many and the only one for some. After 18 years in the classroom, Mr. B served the district as an elementary principal for another 11 years. Known someone as a Joan Giant, 6'3" Mr. B had even more of a walking presence to the kindergartners and early childhood students. Mr. B was a master motivator, often making friendly waves for the students. If he lost a bet due to student success, Mr. B would pay for it, whether it be kissing a pig or dyeing his hair bright red. Mr. Borchers also put in countless hours coaching Wildcats, especially with baseball. He was highly involved in the Hardin Baseball Association for several years, coaching both softball and baseball, on top of his role as Ball Association board member. Prior, Coach Borchers led Houston's varsity baseball team for 8 years. He was also familiar with base and basketball, coaching junior high boys for 7 years, and later helping organize youth basketball at Hardin. In addition, Mr. Borchers was a member of the Athletic Boosters and simply a fan, especially varsity boys basketball, hardly missing a game during the better part of the 1980s to the 2000s. He was my favorite teacher. It would be difficult to calculate how many times the Borchers family has heard that line over the years. Mr. Borchers was, and is, very much linked to Hardin-Houston Local School. His grandkids are often near the top of their respective classes and enjoy playing their chosen sports. Thanks in no small part to the path chosen by their grandfather, Bob Borchers. Accepting this prestigious award on behalf of Bob is his wife, Barb, children Jen, Kyle, Jill, and Janelle, their spouses, and his 11 grandchildren. 2022 Hardin-Houston Wall of Honor recipient, Mr. Bob Borchers. The second recipient of the 2022 Hardin-Houston Wall of Honor is Dr. David Knipe. Dr. Knipe graduated from Houston High School in 1968 as valedictorian after being president of the Science Club and the Future Teachers of America. Dr. Knipe is honored to be on the wall alongside Mr. McKinney, his chemistry teacher, and with whom he worked to start the Science Fair and Science Club. His Houston High School education prepared him well for college at Case Western Reserve University, where he graduated summa cum laude in 1972. David then went to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology for a PhD in biology and started his career studying how viruses affect cells. Dr. Knipe continued his postdoctoral research at the University of Chicago and has been a professor at the Harvard Medical School for more than 40 years, culminating in his election to the National Academy of Sciences in 2021. Dr. Knipe, who resides in Massachusetts, has been married to his wife Suzanne for 49 years, has 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren. His oldest daughter is an assistant professor of medicine at Massachusetts General Hospital, and his younger daughter is a high school science teacher in New York City. One of his favorite activities is watching his grandkids' soccer games and plays. Dr. Knipe has many great memories from his years at Houston High School and being active in starting Farmers 4-H Club and showing sheep at the Shelby County Fair and Ohio State Fairs. He is grateful for these formative experiences, learning how to work hard, being persistent and continuing after setbacks, and completing tasks carefully without taking shortcuts in life. Unfortunately, Dr. Knipe's schedule would not allow his presence tonight. Accepting this award on his behalf is Dr. Knipe's brother, Len Knipe, and family friend, Tony Ritter. Please join me in congratulating our second Hardin-Houston Wall of Honor recipient, Dr. David Knipe. The next 2022 Hardin-Houston Wall of Honor recipient is Mr. Joe Maier. Mr. Maier has been a staple at Hardin-Houston Athletics for over 40 years. Mr. Maier and his wife Joan, along with Kurt Hendrick, Roger and Sandy Snow, created the Hardin-Houston Ball Association in the late 1970s. They solicited donations from local businesses and ran the concession stand during the baseball and softball games to help raise money for the Ball Association. They refurbished the existing ball diamonds and added a softball diamond on the old Hardin-Houston elementary property. Many spring and summer afternoons, you would see Mr. Maier dragging the ball diamonds, mowing and lining the fields in preparation for the Wildcats evening ball games. As you can imagine, Mr. Maier would be the first to recognize and thank Kurt, Roger, and Sandy, and all the other coaches who were so essential in the first few years of existence of the Ball Association. Besides his many years with the Ball Association, Mr. Maier spent countless hours coaching and mentoring hundreds of Hardin-Houston youth in various capacities. Over the years, Mr. Maier coached Little League Baseball, Acme Baseball, 5th and 6th grade boys basketball, and junior high boys basketball. Without a doubt, there were countless positive memories imparted on many Wildcats. Mr. Maier coached over the years, including a few stern redirections that Coach Joe was notorious for, especially at the expense of his 5 boys. Mr. Maier also found time during these busy years to donate his time umpiring baseball games and refereeing basketball games at all levels. One constant with Mr. Maier throughout the many years with his Hardin-Houston School District is that he wanted what was best for all Wildcat kids. Mr. Maier not only wanted to give all the young Wildcats within the district the ability to participate in sports, but also teach them teamwork and give kids an opportunity to do something constructive with their time. Accepting this work tonight with Mr. Maier is his wife Joan and 5 sons, Wes, RJ, Joey, Ryan, Bruce, and their spouses, and his 13 grandchildren. Please join me as we recognize 2022 Wall of Honor recipient, Joe Maier. Our 4th Wall of Honor member, Mr. Gary Mayse, a 1986 Houston alumnus, is very humbled to have this opportunity to stand before the Hardin-Houston community this evening. To begin, Mr. Mayse would like to thank Becky Michael and the entire Wall of Honor committee for considering him as a nominee and named recipient of this prestigious recognition. Upon high school graduation, Mr. Mayse attended the University of Dayton, where he received a bachelor's degree in sports management, coaching, and business marketing. Mr. Mayse has worked in the sports entertainment industry, primarily as a baseball executive with Mandalay Baseball Properties, the Dayton Dragons professional baseball team, and CSE for 20-plus years. During his career in the sport of baseball, he has represented 10 different minor league organizations and worked alongside some of the top major league franchises, such as the New York Yankees, Seattle Mariners, and Cincinnati Reds. Serving as the Executive Vice President of Mandalay Baseball Property, Mr. Mayse managed the company's operation for their minor league business portfolio and acted as owner representative on 3 major new ballpark developments totaling more than $115 million. Prior to his responsibilities with Mandalay, Mr. Mayse was one of 3 key executives involved in the franchise startup of the Dayton Dragons. Following 2003 baseball season, he was named Midwest League Executive of the Year. In 2004, Mr. Mayse was selected as 40 Under 40 Award winner by the Dayton Business Journal. This journey of life began for Mr. Mayse in Hardin-Houston over a half-century ago. Upon high school graduation, it did not take long for him to learn the foundation of success comes from the people you surround yourself with. Mr. Mayse believes his life and career achievements, in which he was fortunate to attain, comes from the steadfast support of his faithful family and friends in his community. Although too many to name here this evening, Mr. Mayse will never forget the administration, teachers, and coaches from Hardin-Houston's school system that always instilled the passion to pursue his dreams. But he would be extremely remiss if he did not recognize Bob Borchers, may God rest his soul, and Fred Nuss. Mr. Mayse would have caused these 2 fine gentlemen in frustration during the day, but they never gave up on him and allowed him to stop short of fulfilling his aspirations. Mr. Mayse would like to recognize his family joining him here this evening, his wife Diane, their 3 children, Elijah, Hannah, and Silas. When not at baseball game himself, Mr. Mayse enjoys being a spectator and cheering his kids on at their many sporting events at Xavier University, Alder High School, and St. Charles. He also expresses gratitude to his parents, Tim and Jerry Fitzpatrick and Jamie and Kathy Mayse. In closing, to the Hardin-Houston community and students, Gary encourages each of you to run the race that God has set before you. May God bless the entire Hardin-Houston community and keep you safe on your journey in life. Please join me in congratulating Gary Mayse, 2022 Hardin-Houston Wall of Honor recipient. Please join me one last time as we congratulate the late Bob Borchers, Dr. David Knipe, Joe Maier, and Gary Mayse as the newest members of the Hardin-Houston Wall of Honor.